And a very good evening to you, our listeners and our viewers. We want to say welcome to you. To those of you viewing us on Sky TV New York, we say welcome. To those of you viewing us on the Guyanese Critic Facebook page and Daybreak News, we want to say welcome to you also. And of course, to those of you viewing us in Canada on Caribbean Showtime, we want to welcome you to the Diaspora Connected for tonight. And tonight in our studio, we have a very important young man who is gracing our studio with his presence. I want to say welcome to you, sir. First of all, welcome to New York, and welcome to our program, Mr. Kamal Samaru, and he is the chairman of the Demerara Distillers Limited. Welcome, sir.
Thank you very much. I am delighted to be here this evening.
And we are delighted to have you too. So ladies and gentlemen, what we'll ask you to do is if you will be kind enough to share this video. Tonight we're taking a different angle because we want to talk about the business environment and give you some insight in how business is going in Guyana and some of the plans that Mr. Samaru has for his company. And so many things we want to talk about. So tonight's program, we're taking it a bit different tonight, where we'll talk business, opportunities, everything that has to do with business. And to those of you who do not know Mr. Samaru, I want to ask you a little bit. Tell us a little bit about yourself, your boyhood days, where you grew up, and how you became interested in business and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, so I was born in a little village of Cummings Lodge,
Wow.
near to where the University of Guyana is. And I attended Cummings Lodge Government Secondary School, where I was a natural science student at school. That initially I did not intend to get into the world of business, but as luck would have it, I ended up joining the business, Booker's Rum Company, and became a chartered accountant, and eventually became the finance director of the group, the managing director, vice president for international marketing, and then finally in 2014, I became the executive chairman, succeeding the late Dr. Issa Prasad when he retired.
Wow. So it's very interesting to know that you weren't during your school days, you weren't even focused on business. What caught your attention? What got you interested in this type of career?
Yeah, I initially, when I like science and I like maths, but the opportunities, the job opportunities that those presented at the time when I finished high school was quite limited. And the opportunities that business offered was much greater. And as I got into the business environment, I quite liked it. And so I pursued finance and accountancy, and became a chartered accountant, and from there my career just took off.
Wow. All right. So that's very good to know. So all those young boys in Cummins Lodge area or anywhere in Guyana, you can do this too. There are lots of role models in Guyana, and you have a shining example of a role model here in our studio. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to encourage you to share the video, share it on your timeline, send it in a message to your friends, and of course, encourage people to join us here. We're live on the Guyanese Critic Facebook page, and we're also live on Sky TV New York Facebook page. We're also live on Showtime. Caribbean Showtime over there in Canada. So I want to say welcome to all our viewers and listeners across the spectrum. So I want to talk to you a little bit about DDL, Demerara Distillers Limited. Give us a little background on the company, if you don't mind.
Right. So Demerara Distillers Limited, as it is known now, is the consolidation of the rum interests of Booker's and Jessel Group of companies, which were both nationalized in the mid-1970s. And those rum interests were merged together to form Demerara Distillers. Those companies had minority shareholders, so it was not totally owned by the state. And so when Demerara Distillers was created through the merger of these two entities, it was a partnership of the state, having the majority at the time, and a few hundred private shareholders. And as time went on and the need for additional capital arose to expand the company, additional capital was raised through the stock market. And so at the present time, we now have almost 9,000 shareholders, some of them in the diaspora, many in Guyana. And these shareholders are the people who benefit from the growth of the company and the work that we do as the management and executive team.
All right. And of course, so just let me do a little bit encouraging our friends to share this video so that our young people in Guyana can be inspired again by this young man who's gracing our presence, gracing our studio with his presence. And so we can talk about the business environment, and you can learn so much from this gentleman here. Maybe lives can change by listening to you and listening to your story and listening to your plans for the company and stuff like that. So I want to talk a little bit about the business environment in Guyana. Some people in the diaspora still, they're still iffy about the business. Some Guyanese out here are still iffy about the business climate in Guyana. However, it's not the same for foreign investors. So let's talk a little bit about the business climate, the current business climate in Guyana.
Yes, I guess if you've been in business for as long as I have been and see what it was over the last 40 years or so, you have a background and a context within which to evaluate the present business environment. And I will say quite categorically, without any fear of contradiction, that it has never been as good as it is now, right? As a country, we've gone through difficult times. As businesses, we struggled. We were established as part of foreign businesses, and when they were nationalized in the mid-70s, we struggled, and we succeeded because they were preferential market access. In the Europe, under the Lomé Convention, in the US, under the Caribbean-based initiative, and in Canada, under the Caribbean Agreement. But in the 1990s, in 1994, when the WTO agreement was signed, those trade preferences were no longer compatible with the new rules of global trade. And hence, the guaranteed markets we have were starting to disappear. And therefore, we, as the managers of this company, had to reposition our product and had to reposition the business so that we can survive and compete in an open global market space. In today's world, where, and certainly in the Guyana, in the economic space of Guyana at the present time, the room to expand, to have access to facilities, and to grow the business is much greater now than it has ever been before.
Excellent. And why do you think that is so?
Well, because of the oil and gas sector, which has been growing, generating significant more revenues to the government and much more foreign exchange to the country. Hence, there are resources that are available. In addition to that, the skill sets that are required to service the oil and gas sector require of Guyanese employees to be better trained and to be more skilled and to follow international best practice. And that is a very positive trend for the country because the employees, the education system to produce the kind of employees required for the oil and gas sector will change, and every other business in the country will benefit from that as well.
Excellent. And ladies and gentlemen, if you're just joining us and you are listening to us, I want you to know that my guest tonight is the executive chairman of the Demerara Distillers Limited, Mr. Kumal Kumar Samaru, and we are delighted to have him here. I want to just say to you guys that we're not taking phone calls at this time because we want to try to get get when we get these busy gentlemen on these programs, we want to try to soak up and try to get all the information that we can out of them. So I want to say thank you very much once again. But we're not going to be taking phone calls. We appreciate your interest in this program, but we will not be taking phone calls at this time because there's lots of information that we can garner from this gentleman here. So I saw recently, and we're going to talk about the plans for DDL, some of your plans for expansion and stuff like that. Plans to grow the company. Of course, it's a huge company in Guyana. Is it the largest?
Well, it would be amongst the largest, not necessarily the largest, but pretty much up there.
And what about your shareholders? Because 9,000 shareholders is a pretty impressive number.
Yes. We have a large number of shareholders. Some of them very small. All the pension funds have shares in the company. The insurance companies, plus private individuals. So it's a very important contributor to these institutions. The National Insurance, for example, is a fairly significant shareholder. And as the company grows and pays dividends and the value goes up, then one can say that everybody benefits from the growth of DDL.
Right. And I see that, first of all, I was reading the other day and I saw the launch of a 60-year-old rum. Is that, am I correct with that?
No, not quite. It's a special blend that was created for the 60th anniversary of the University of Guyana.
Oh, so it's not the 60-year man. Now I'm disappointed because. but before we talk about the 60-year-old, so the 50-year-old, was it a 50-year-old rum?
The 50-year-old was no. It had elements of 50-year-old.
Okay.
It was a range between 33 and 50.
Okay. But it was good rum, and I'm not, I want to say that. And listen, this is just my personal opinion here, ladies and gentlemen. I think that the 12, 15, and 21-year-old rum is one of the best tasting rums. And I don't profess to be a rum professional, but I know good rum when I drink it. And I think it's one of the best tasting rum. And sometimes as locals, as Caribbean people, as Guyanese, we've got to give our brand a little bit more. And right here on this program, I'm promoting that brand. I'm saying, don't worry too much with the H stuff, guys, and try some real Guyanese rum and you'll see. You wake up feeling better in the morning. Take it from someone who's been drinking that. But let's go back.
I couldn't agree with you more. And when we started out with creating these products, we wanted to demonstrate to the world that rum can be as good as any other spirit. Prior to then, rum was seen as the cheapest of drink, that you had to mix with Coke or Pepsi or something else to make it palatable. But when we took a decision to enter into the branded market, we decided we're going to go to the very top to compete with Scotch whiskies and cognacs and those premium spirits. And I will have to say that we pioneered the premiumization of rum in the world, because prior to us introducing the aged Eldorado 15-year-old, there was no product of that sort in the rum category.
And you did a good job at it. I'll tell you that because, listen, you can find it here in the Queens area. I'm not sure if it's the same for the United States. And I can tell you that once you go to those liquor stores, it sells fast.
Yes, we are actually in 40 states in the United States of America.
Wow.
We are in all the provinces in Canada.
Wow.
We are in every European country. And we are in every Caribbean country. We are in a few countries in Asia, and we're working to widen that. And we're working on Latin America and Africa at the present time. We're in Australia, New Zealand. So our goal in the next 5 to 10 years to have a Eldorado having a global footprint across the world.
And I'm wondering which other Guyanese brand, maybe probably Demerara Gold Sugar, which other Guyanese brand can say that we're all over the world almost That's very impressive.
Yeah.
I'm thinking which other brand the Guyanese brand, and every Guyanese should feel proud of this, because this is a Guyanese company managed by Guyanese, your own people, that is doing excellent things. The chairman just said that so many countries you can find the Demerara DDL brand. And you should be proud. And when you go to the LCBO over there in Canada, or you go to the liquor stores here, go look for it. And before we turn to other products, because I don't want it to look like we're just here promoting rum. We're not. Demerara Distillers Limited is not just about rum or alcohol. There's so many other things that they're involved in. But I want us to talk a
I
little.
want to make one other point.
Yes.
That in creating El Dorado as a brand, we've gone the extra step of protecting the origin of El Dorado, and that is the Demerara rum origin. In the European Union, it is now recognized under the geographical indication regulations, so that any rum that states Demerara in the EU must be able to prove that it comes from the county of Demerara in Guyana, and it must meet the quality standards that is recognized by the EU. And now under the EU Canada Free Trade Agreement, Canada has now adopted that as a standard. And in the United States of America, Demerara rum is recognized as a brand name and therefore has that protection, so that the image of this product coming out of Guyana and branded El Dorado has got protection and recognition by the authorities around the world.
Wow. So anybody kind of just slap on a label that says Demerara on it. Demerara.
Absolutely right.
Oh wow! So, I am impressed, and I hope that Guyanese looking at this program and listening to us are equally impressed by this very local Guyanese company that is doing big things and putting our name on the map. But I want to go back to you. Let us talk a little bit about the 60-year-old rum, and the concept of that.
60th anniversary rum.
60th. So I'm getting it mixed up. So there's not a 60-year-old rum, but a 60th anniversary, and this is 60th anniversary University of Guyana. So tell us a little bit more about that.
Okay, so that rum was specially put together for this occasion. I think it contains 5 different distillates, about 12 years old each, and it has this unique characteristic, specially blended. 6,000 bottles will be sold at $100 a bottle.
Wow.
And all the profits from this product will go to the University of Guyana Foundation, which is improving the facilities at the University of Guyana so that the students can benefit and can have a more enabling environment to pursue their career and their studies.
Wow. So, and this is very important subject that you've touched on there. I want us to talk a little bit more about the University of Guyana, because you seem to have a very an interest in University of Guyana. Is it because you grew up in Cummins Lodge?
I think that would be part of it. I very often reminisce where the university is at the moment as a little boy, what I used to do in that area.
I grew up not too far from there. I grew up in Atlanticville, right at the front of Cummins Lodge. So we were neighbors, and I saw someone here, Abdul something, says he used to be your classmate at Cummins Lodge. Abdul Haq says you guys went to school together, so he's watching us.
Yes, okay.
And someone else asked, how can persons living overseas buy into shares from DDL?
Yes, well, the stock market is regulated. It's just a very small stock market, but it's regulated, and there are about 2 or 3 licensed brokers that you can approach and indicate your interest in purchasing the shares. There's a trust company, Guyana Limited. There's a hand-in-hand trust, and there's Secure Trust Company. Well, now it's hand-in-hand trust now, and you can indicate to them that you are interested in buying shares. They will take your request, and as persons are disposing of their shares, they will certainly channel it to you in fulfilling your requirements that you have indicated.
All right, so there you go, ladies and gentlemen. If you're interested in buying into the company, and I am, I want you to know I am, because I have confidence in the product, and I'm consumer
Good.
of the
Good.
product. But I'm not a rumhead, okay, ladies and gentlemen. But yeah, so you were talking, we were talking about the University of Guyana,
Yes.
and I know that your company is investing heavily, especially in the university. So tell us a little bit about how you're investing, whether it's in human or that kind of stuff at the university.
Right. Well, the University of Guyana is a very important institution in Guyana, and certainly for our company, we have been drawing on the University of Guyana, the graduates that come out of that university, to manage and operate our business. As a company, we sponsor some of our employees. We give them scholarships that go to university, particularly in the area of chemistry and engineering.
Wow.
And the graduates who come out of the university in fields of management, engineering, chemistry, agriculture, several areas, we hire them as management trainees. So they come into the company apprenticed to our more senior and experienced management, and they're trained over time to take up senior management and professional position. So for us, the University of Guyana is a very important supporting institution that we depend on, we rely on to keep expanding and growing our business, into the future.
And obviously, with you at the helm of the University of Guyana, your special connection to the University of Guyana, and you seem to have a very a special interest in educating our young people, and I'm very impressed with that.
Absolutely. We have in the company an ongoing program of supporting our staff to enhance their knowledge and pursue a range of studies, some part-time, some full-time, some in their spare time. We refund people, for example, their expenses that they spend to pursue professional accounting qualification or professional marketing qualification, because we believe that as a local company, the capacity of our management will be the only limiting factor in the growth of the business, and therefore we put a great value to training. In addition to that, we have as part of our human resource department, a training division. We call it Diamond Institute of Management and Technology, where we train everybody and expose them to training from the time they join the company. We have a technical training manager who trains them who was once the principal of the Port Moran Training Technical Center. And so we, as a company, place a lot of emphasis on the training and development of our human resource.
And I'm eager to ask you, why so much focus? And there's nothing wrong with that. So it's just a question to get information. But why is this company, Demerara Distills Limited, so focused on education and upliftment of young people and investing and that sort of thing in the community, and of course in your human resources?
Yeah, I will say this. I would not have been sitting here today had I not been a beneficiary
Wow.
of the program of what was called After Hours Study Scheme. I work in the day and study in the night. And as I pursue my professional exams in the UK, I was refunded the costs that I incurred to pursue those studies. And as I became more and more qualified, my role in the company changed. And I moved into executive position after I became professionally qualified. And so take my experience and multiply it
Wow.
by hundreds. We presently employ almost 1,500 persons.
Wow.
Okay, so it is self-advancement for the individual, but it's also creating that pool of management and technical skills that are required to grow the business.
And as you touch on growing the business, let us talk about some of the plans that you have. First of all, how long have you been with this company? I don't know if you told me in the opening, but I don't remember.
Yeah, I was a little bit worried to tell you because you called me a young man in the beginning. But I have completed 53 years
In the company?
since I first joined the company.
Wow, 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 wow. Still a young man. Still, I think youth is in how you appear and how you see yourself and what you're able to do. Once you're not able to do certain things anymore, that's when you can say, well, I'm no longer a young man.
Well, I say to people, like good rum, I get better with age.
I could see it. I could see it. And so I want to talk a little bit also about your plans to build this company and to grow this company. I was told earlier about a $20 million investment in a plant.
Yes.
Let us talk a little bit about that. And 20 million US dollars investment in a plant in Guyana shows that you have absolute confidence
Yes.
in Guyana's economy, and no one is going to invest $20 million in a country that is not safe and it's not ripe for investment. So that's very impressive. So let's talk a little bit about that.
Right. So one of the strategies, one of the growth strategies that we have been pursuing is to diversify the business and diversify in other areas other than just rum production. And since the mid-1990s, we identified fruit processing as one of the areas that we should invest in. So we purchased a small juice operation through a subsidiary called Topco Tropical Orchard Product Company, and that business grew slowly, but we recognize that with the changes that are taking place in the economy and in the world, where food security is becoming increasingly important, where healthy food items are being encouraged, and where in an economy there is greater spending power, consumer behavior will change. People will want to drink healthier, and in response to those changing trends, we took a decision to invest significantly in expanding and modernizing the juice operation. That investment entailed a fruit processing plant where we purchase fruits from farmers and it extracts the pulp from that fruit and package it aseptically for storage until it is ready to go into juice and other fruit-based product. That's the first segment of the plan. The second segment of the plan has to do with a processing and packaging facility to produce juices, a wide range of juices, fruit and vegetable juices, as well as milk and other dairy product, and to package it aseptically in Tetra Pak 1 liter packs and 200 ml packs. So we are developing the capability of taking fruits from the farm and create high value consumer product that people can buy in a supermarket and consume healthy products as they pursue their choice of lifestyle.
Wow. And so you've just opened up another avenue there, because you could have chosen to import concentrate from outside of Guyana, but you chose to purchase fruits from local farmers, hence creating it has so much positive spin-off effects, and that's very noble.
Yes.
Because I'm sure it would have been easier and cheaper to just purchase concentrate products and turn it into juice, and some of our people don't even know what they're drinking sometimes.
Yes.
And how that product come to be and end up in their refrigerator. But to actually purchase locally grown Guyanese fruits from Guyanese farmers and process that and turn it into juice that Guyanese and others can consume, It's very impressive, and I'm tempted to ask you. Uh, you seem to know so much about every aspect of this company. You know, sometimes you talk to a CEO and he cannot tell you how the product is made or anything like that. But you seem to know everything because you know, we talk about rum. You tell us so much about the rum and how it's made and all this information. And now we're talking about the fruit processing plant, and you're telling us about all these things. Do you like sit down at nights and just how do you do it, managing such a huge company and keeping up with all the that's going on in that company?
Yeah. Well, we have a great management team, I have to tell you. The executive team and the management team, they're all university graduates, first, second degree, and they are all very committed. And as a team, we work very closely together, and we keep each other fully informed with what we are doing, what are our goals, what are the challenges, how do we overcome it. And, you know, and like every business, there are challenges to be overcome, you know, but together we sit down and we find solutions,
Right.
and we find the best way forward to overcome whatever hurdles may come our way.
Excellent. And ladies and gentlemen, in the comments, you can post some questions that I can post to our honored guest tonight. Just in case you're just joining us, Mr. Kumar Samru is our honored guest, Executive Chairman of the Demerara Distillers Limited. And there are other brands that are attached to this because I remember I just heard you said about Topco. What other companies fall under the Demerara DDL brand?
Right. Okay, so maybe I should give you a quick insight in our growth. From the distillery rum production,
Yes.
when you take molasses and you ferment it to produce rum, you give off carbon dioxide. So we have set up a plant to capture that carbon dioxide and purify it. Okay, and we provide dry ice during the COVID season. We were made supplier of dry ice to keep the vaccines,
Wow.
protected. So we produce dry ice, we produce carbon dioxide. And we use that carbon dioxide in the production of carbonated beverage, right? We are the Pepsi franchise holder, so we do Pepsi and 7-Up in Guyana, which we use carbon dioxide. And then the waste that comes out in the distillation process, we built a plant 10, 12 years ago that take that waste and process it into methane gas, which we then used in our boilers to replace the bunker seat, to generate steam to run our distillery, right? So that in that way we help the environment while we create economic value out of what was a waste product. So to go back to your original question, apart from rum that we do carbonated beverage, we do water, we do juices, we do juice-based products, and at the moment we are working. I said that our plant packages milk and dairy product. We are now working on a very significant project to invest a significant amount of money, 15 million US, into a dairy farm, which will produce milk for our dairy packaging plant.
Wow.
So again, there is a new opportunity, creating local value added. Okay, and I believe that this new investment is certainly in response to the food security strategy that is pursued by the country and the Caribbean region. And I believe that once we are successful in this model of dairy farming that we are investing in, then it is something that will benefit the entire dairy sector in Guyana.
And you just touched on food security, and His Excellency the President has been championing food security in our region. What do you think about his leadership in that area?
I think he is providing excellent leadership. I think one of the things that I think would stand out in the leadership style of the President is his ability to build rapport with his fellow leaders in the Caribbean And through having rapport at the leadership level across the region to get a consensus of views on the strategies that should be pursued. And therefore, from what I see and read and hear, I can say in great unison, the leaders of the Caribbean are all talking about regional food security. And in pursuance of that goal, I think Guyana has a very leading and significant role to play.
Excellent. Thank you very much for that. And let me see if we have some questions. But I want to talk a little bit about the oil economy. I know that people always, once we talk about business and business opportunity and the way that Guyana has become such a favorable market for investment, we cannot talk about that without talking about the oil economy. Since the discovery of oil, and we've seen a change in Guyana. I'm sure you can agree with that. Our whole prospect has changed,
Definitely.
and the government has set out to ensure that that the local content policy was created. You want to touch on that a little bit, or
Yes.
how do you see that?
Yes. Well, I think this was a very important measure that the government has put in place, because you don't want a major sector like oil and gas generating significant income, and that income in turn goes back to foreign companies that come in and provide service to the oil and gas sector. So instituting a regulation that requires local content in the input to support the oil and gas sector, I think was a very important step, because it presents a number of positive spin-off. First of all, for the development of the people of Guyana, the human capacity, so that Guyanese can provide service to the oil and gas sector and benefit from it. They can pursue career opportunities in these supporting industries, and at the same time, the national economy can benefit from the spin-off effects of retaining the proceeds from the oil and gas sector for the development of the national economy. So I think the benefits are very significant, and I think as we continue to expand the oil and gas sector, and as we develop the human skills of the Guyanese to provide more service, I think we're going to see significant benefits to the economy.
All right, and we got a comment here from Mr. Fazil Joe Yusuf, who is the advisor to Guyana Consulate on Diaspora and Investment, and I want to read it. He says, Mr. Samaru is definitely a role model for many Guyanese at home and in the diaspora. I hope his success in his business will encourage many young entrepreneurs to venture and invest in Guyana. And he's responsible for investment in Guyana, so he's making a pitch there for people to get involved in investment. Let us touch a little bit. I know people want to talk about security, and we have a few more things to talk about. So let's make sure we got some time. So we have some time, but I want to talk about security in our country. I think when investors, when people talk. Mind you, I'm talking about local people, because
Yes.
the foreigners, they don't seem to have this problem, but our locals always touch sometimes, and they talk about security. What you would say about our security situation currently in Guyana?
I think there are some genuine concerns about security, but in every country one goes to, you have to be particularly careful, and there's some places that you do not go to, and you need to exercise all due care and diligence. It is an area of concern, and I'm hoping that with the new resources that are available to the government, to the public authorities, they will be able to invest more in the security sector, and hopefully in time reduce the risk factor in this particular area.
Thank you very much for that good response there. And so I want to also talk about, I was also told about your company being an entrepreneur and being an innovative company. We are soon to have the first World Trade Center in Guyana. Let us talk a little bit about that.
Yes.
And where you got that idea? you got that idea to bring a World Trade Center into Guyana?
Well, we had a visit from someone who learned about Guyana, and he worked with a network of World Trade Centers, and he came and presented the idea to several agencies, and of course, he met me through our government relations advisor, Mr. Wesley Curtin, and the moment he explained to me how the World Trade Center operates, and the opportunity to network around the world with 300 plus other World Trade Centers. As a company that is in the export business, I immediately saw opportunities. And I expressed an interest to pursue it, given the fact that we had a head office facility that was underutilized, and I immediately explored converting that facility to meet the requirements of getting a license for the World Trade Center of Georgetown to be formed. And so that process began very early last year, and and we finally succeeded in receiving that license, I think, in April this year.
Wow. So just a brief reminder here, ladies and gentlemen, we are broadcasting on the Guyanese Critic Network, Daybreak News. We're also broadcasting on Sky TV New York, and we're broadcasting on Caribbean Showtime over there in Canada. And we are broadcasting to you live from Carib Media Studios here in Queens, New York. So we're happy that that all of you guys are joining us. And tonight is not the usual fireworks, because sometimes we're going to bring in guests in this studio who can inspire you. Listening to Mr. Sam, I'm already inspired. I am enthusiastic. I feel confident about the future and the direction of my country based on some of the things that you're telling me here as a businessman. So we were talking about the World Trade Center. So tell us what is the concept about, for those who do not know.
Right. So the World Trade Center is a network of World Trade Centers around the world. And by having a license, our center in Guyana will have immediate access to those World Trade Centers, and we can pursue business opportunities for businesses in Guyana. I believe that small businesses in particular can benefit tremendously from the World Trade Center in Guyana, because we can link them up with other businesses around the world where they could export their products, where they can acquire new knowledge. We are going to provide training in international trade matters on issues like logistics and shipping, issues like trade financing, and other opportunities like that, so that businesses in Guyana can become part of a global market space. And businesses around the world who want to access opportunities in Guyana can also come through the World Trade Center. So we become an interface between the businesses in Guyana and the businesses around the world through the network of the World Trade Center.
But I'm curious, as a businessman who is doing okay, your business is thriving and stuff like that. How come you're still interested in growing small business and that kind of thing? This sounds like a true Guyanese story. I want to hear it.
Well, in the mid 1980s, after Guyana embarked on a liberalization of its economy, the late Dr. Issou Prasad started an organization called the Institute of Private Enterprise Development. I am presently the chairman of that organization. And we provide funding and training to over 4,000 small and micro businesses in Guyana.
Wow.
Helping them and teaching them and funding them to be successful and to grow their business. So it's part of our corporate social responsibility. We do this free. We contribute this. We are not paid to be members of the board and to overlook this institution, but we use our knowledge and our experience and our contacts to help those entrepreneurs to grow their business.
Wow.
And I think some of those people will definitely benefit by the network that the World Trade Center brings to Guyana. And that's only one example. There are many other businesses that can benefit. But I make reference to the Institute of Private Enterprise Development because I'm presently the chairman of the board, and I know the work that we've been doing there to encourage entrepreneurship at the small level and teaching people how they can start at a very basic level and basically grow their business.
Wow. And that's very impressive because sometimes you have these companies and they're performing well and they look to suck up everything that the small business is doing. Oh, you're selling X, we're gonna take that away from you. Suck up everything. But this company, your company, Demerara Distills Limited, seem to be interested in growing. First of all, your investment at the university level, investment in your human capital, investment in small business, investment in the country and its economy to see it get better. I'm very impressed, and that's very noble of you leading the direction of your company. I want to say this. I think that I was naturally a DDL supporter because I like your product. When I go to Guyana, and this is honest, I only drink the water in the blue bottle. Diamond water, but not the fizzy one, the one in the blue plastic bottle. I think it's the best tasting water. And the gentleman here did not even ask me anything about that. I'm telling you, I bank only with Demerara Bank.
Very good.
And of course, I already spoke about my love for the rum. And when I was at NCN, my juice of choice was Topco. So I think I was naturally. So this is us coming here and you coming here on this program and doing this. I'm very very happy that I'm part one of your diehard customers or supporters of.
I will say you're a very discerning consumer. You choose the best.
And that's very good. But let us talk a little bit about your plans as the executive chairman of Demerara Distills. Tell me a little bit about the plans too. Could this company grow any bigger, man?
Well, it has to. The moment you stand still as a business, you become smaller in the scheme of things. So you need to keep growing and expanding into new opportunities. And we are growing. There are many plans, we have many investment. Each segment of our business is growing. Whether it's the shipping operations, and maybe I didn't talk about that, but our shipping, we have a shipping company which was established when we relocated operations in Georgetown and Diamond. We had properties on the waterfront and we converted that into a very thriving shipping business.
Oh, wow.
And even as we speak now, there's improvement and expansion taking place there. There are a couple of international shipping lines that this shipping company represents, like the MSC line. So that is growing. We have a trading and distribution company that is also expanding. So, and in the Caribbean, we as a company, we have a subsidiary in St. Kitts that is growing. We have an investment in Jamaica. We're part of the National Rums of Jamaica. We are one of the 3 shareholders. So we see ourselves growing within Guyana and within the Caribbean way into the future.
Wow. And once again, I want to say that we're very, very, very impressed with the work that you're doing, the way that your product is putting Guyana on the map. I was very impressed to know that the Demerara rum logo or brand, it can only be used
Yes.
by your company. All those things are very impressive. Now, if there are some we have young people watching us. Some of them might be operating in a state of hopelessness. As a successful Guyanese from humble origin, what advice do you have for some of those young people?
Yes, I think that sometimes people's circumstances are very difficult and they lose hope, they become hopeless, and in that situation sometimes they don't know what to do. But if they can just start believing in themselves and believe that within them lies the opportunity to go forward and apply themselves, I think with the opportunities that are available in Guyana, you know, with the number of training program that the government has been rolling out under an initiative called Goal Initiative, there are opportunities to advance yourself. And people need to take ownership for their success and pursue these opportunities.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were going on.
Yeah.
And where do you see our country, your country, Guyana? Where do you see it in another 5 to 10 years? What's your
Yes, I believe that with the revenues generated by the oil and gas sector, Guyana now has the capability of modernizing its infrastructure and become a very competitive economy. Already the government plans to bring down the cost of power through gas to shore project that they're investing in, and that has the potential of bringing the cost of electricity and power that is used in all sectors for living as well as the industrial sector by half. That, along with an efficient infrastructure and well-trained human resource and the use of the latest technology in driving the productive process, could make Guyana a very important economic hub in that tip of South America, Caribbean region. So I'm very optimistic that once the revenues from the oil and gas sector and the other sectors are invested well and managed well, we could be a very prosperous and successful country in that part of the world.
Wow. So, ladies and gentlemen, you heard it. You heard it from the chairman, executive chairman of the Demar Distillers Limited, Mr. Kumal Samaru. He took time out to come with us and to sit down and to share some of his knowledge with us, share some of the information on what's going on in relation to the company and stuff like that. But let me ask you a little bit. My bank, Demerara Bank, is that that's just a subsidiary of yours? Or
It's
what?
an associated company. Again, it was started by Dr. Yusuf Assad, and we got wide base investment into the institution. I was a director from the very beginning and happened to be the present chairman of the bank. Again, the bank started out using, at that time, the best technology that was available in Guyana. And as time went on, it continued to improve. And I can say that based on the plans that the bank has, it will be leading the modernization of the financial sector in Guyana. That is the goal that the management is working towards.
And I'm proud to say that that's my bank, and that's the only bank I bank with in Guyana. And I have a story to tell you about Demerara Bank. Actually, when I started in 2013, when I started NTN's Morning Show in Guyana, someone contacted me from that bank, and they invited me to come to the Camp South Road branch, and I went there, and they were like, so we were impressed with your radio show. And we don't normally advertise on radio. Our product sells itself. But we want to invest because we were impressed. And they started advertising with me on NTN's morning show. So I think I was naturally drawn to this company because I think they said they never used to advertise on radio. So it could have been the first time they were advertising on radio.
Yeah.
They advertised on my morning show, the morning show that I did. So, and it became my bank, and I've never left.
Very good.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure you were doing a very good job to impress the management of the bank to reach out to you.
Well.
And I'm sure that the bank is equally pleased that you have helped them to grow to the stage where they are right now. We recently did the turning of the sod ceremony for a new branch at Lenora.
Wow.
And we have, 2 years ago, opened a branch at Mahaika that has been extremely successful, taking banking to these parts of Guyana where there never was any banking service.
So, ladies and gentlemen, you are hearing some of this information here. Some of you who live outside of Guyana, you're hearing some of this information for the first time. I've learned some new things tonight. And of course, I'm sure that you did too. But our time is almost gone. But before I let you go, sir, do you have any word of advice? We have people living outside of Guyana that may have not returned to Guyana for a while. We have people living outside of Guyana, Guyanese, who are all excited to go home. I can't tell you about the amount of people that call me at my office and they were like, I'm ready to go back to Guyana. I want to go home. And they're asking me about all this kind of stuff. We have Guyanese listening to us. What would you want to say to Guyanese that listen to us in your parting words here? About the country and that kind of stuff before we wrap up.
Yes. You know, a Guyanese who might have left Guyana a long time ago and who have not been visiting would have in their mind a mental picture of what Guyana was in those years at the time when they have left. But I will say that the country has gone through a lot of changes, a lot of very positive changes. And if you go back now, you're going to find a very different place. But more importantly, you're going to find a place of opportunities for the future. Right? It is not the equivalent of a first world. It cannot be compared with New York or anywhere in the first world, but it is an opportunity for those who want to invest or who want to do something and to take the skills and the knowledge that they might have gained in the first world. It is an opportunity for you because you want to be in an economy that is growing, right? So that you can grow with that economy. And I think Guyana presents that opportunity for you.
Wow. Thank you very much. So I'm going to follow on what this honorable gentleman just said, and I would invite you, Guyanese, to, even though I'm not there, come grow with us and let us make our country this beautiful, what do you say, a beacon? This beautiful beacon once again. Sir, I want to say thank you very much for coming. It is a pleasure to have you. I'm looking forward to doing this again, whether it's here in New York or in Guyana. I'm looking forward to doing this again with you because I want to, follow up with you to know how the plant is going and how the World Trade Center is going, all these things. I want to know these things. So I'm looking forward when I come down to Guyana to have another opportunity to sit down and chat with you. It is certainly a pleasure to have you here. I feel honored that I had the opportunity to sit down and talk to Guyanese of such stature as you are, and of course that you came from such humble beginnings, right around the corner from me in Cummins Lodge there, so I'm very impressed.
Well, thank you very much. I'm delighted to be here and to share my perspective of Guyana, what is happening there and the opportunities, and to tell you what we are doing as a company, building, and I believe that we have created the foundation of a company that in the future will continue to be very successful to the benefit of all the shareholders, all the stakeholders, and all Guyanese.
Wow. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Kumal Samaru, Executive Director of the Demerara Distillers Limited. Thank you all for joining us tonight, and I do look forward for your company again on a Thursday night as we do this all over again. Thank you very much to Carib Media, Mr. Urasina Ryan, and all the folks of Carib Media for making this studio space available for us. Thank you very much to the guys here at Sky TV. And I want to say thank you also to the guys over there at Daybreak News and Guyanese Critic Facebook page. And of course to you, our viewers and listeners. We could not have done it without you. We were happy that you sat there or stood or whatever. However you are looking and listening to us, we are happy that you took the opportunity to join us. And I hope that you learned something tonight. On behalf of my guest, my name is Ossie Rodgers saying thank you very much, and we'll talk again on Thursday night. Goodbye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Good. Thank you.